This is Boomer Life on CL 650.
No, you're not alone, 'cause I'm gonna make this place your home.
There you go.
Perfect line.
You get a request? Playing the hits. There's Dwayne picking Phil Phillips, which is a strange name. But anyway, the song is called Home. And we're talking about, Douglas and his mother's new home, Opal by Element, at King Edward and Cambie, your in-laws as well. And now, Candy, Douglas's mom is 72, right? And you've told me a statistic about retirement living, and typically people that are going into care, how old are they?
Yeah, 87 is the industry norm.
Yeah,
Yes.
so that's quite old.
Yes.
And so you're bringing that average age down, and why do you think that is? So what are some of the new clients coming in?
Yeah.
What kind of ages are you seeing?
I have currently, just this week, a 53-year-old who will be 55 when we open, and another that's 62.
That's Freedom 55.
Yeah.
that's what you know about, right?
Yeah. Another who's 62, and then a couple who bought a amalgamated 2 units to also have their daughter. So the daughter might actually be in her 40s, she looks like,
Right.
and the parents are in the 70s. But again, it's that family supporting each other. So because in the other places that have the services for aging in place with the assisted living and then even complex care is very rare. It's 2% of all of Canada that has a complete spectrum. Having all that there, automatically people program it as senior dedicated living and amenities. But here, because we know that nobody likes to be surrounded just by old people who then they become increasingly conscious of degeneration, we really need to make it not categorized by age. And so we opened it up so that, okay, because we're offering the services, we need this place to, not be... It still has one person that may need that service soon or later, but one person, 55, and the rest can be any age, any person in your family, whether they are 5 years old or 50 years old or anything. And so it is a family home that happens to have those services, and it's a clubhouse. But everybody is understanding that. Everybody who's bought in now see that vision. And it's probably... Each sale that I've made has been to complete families with them actively envisioning all 3 generations being together. And I've sold, each time I've sold, it's been 2 units or separately, or 2 units amalgamated now with the adult generation, with the elder generation.
I wonder what's going to happen in the decades to come as the generation that's buying now is not there anymore, and the people who inherit those units decide to keep them.
Of course, for their future.
For where they're going to go.
Like the person that I'm saying is 53. Like, imagine her adult child is 18 right now, and she's already thinking ahead because of her experience with her parents, where her parents are in Hong Kong. There is no desirable care. She cannot even trust the people there. Her mom is like hugging onto her purse all day long, even while she's sleeping. And she's like, this is obviously not what it's about in Canada. And, I have to think ahead. I don't want my child, even though he's only 18, because who knows what happens. I'm 53 and I'm very healthy, but nobody like Douglas deals with life insurance, and we don't know what's ahead. We can have sudden strokes. We can have suddenly cancer, all the stuff that nobody likes to think about, the negative and the fears ahead. But that's not really, I hope that by doing this and having a very positive place, there's nothing scary about it, it's living fully and beautifully, then people don't need to, I don't want to get there earlier than I need to, because nobody wants to be living in an old space in a nursing home, of course. But this isn't that. It's enjoying your life and just planning ahead and not ever having to worry again.
Yeah. Do you think that will happen in your family? You think that you'll just keep these units?
That factored into the back of my mind because in 15 years' time, all of a sudden, my wife and I were right in that age range for being able to be in there, and our kids are in theory off to university, and it did play in of the reason buying a unit. If it was only for 10 years, that may not be the depending on your circumstances, that may not be the best fit. But for us, I was looking at it and going, okay, I have no problem making sure my mom gets the unit and getting this set up in place, because, I could foresee myself potentially moving into this and taking taking that approach of the fact it's a 55-year-old entry point, but also having the younger age. So it's like, because the difference between an 88-year-old or an 87-year-old and my mother at 72 or even somebody at 55, it's very, very different. And
Sure
if
it
there's
is.
a space that is kind of comfortable and can be home, it's something that potentially, because the nice thing about generations is each time there's something cycling, it could be a family home for a while to go.
All right, now I'm going to get into an area that is a little bit touchy, and forgive me, but money, right? So you're in the business of selling insurance for the what if happens, right?
Correct.
You want to have enough.
Correct.
Now, you just lived through the experience of having your dad aging in place in your family home.
Yes.
Now, did you ever look at it and say, if we had something like this, it might have actually been less expensive to have him staying in Opal by Element than trying to do it on your own?
Yes. No, for sure. Because the thing is, when the big difference was with my dad, we were in a position that we were having to be reactive. So when something was happening, you got to make it happen. And
Right. You have to make it
searching.
happen.
You have to make it happen. And also when that happens, it even goes beyond dollars and cents.
Yeah.
Because
The
like
intangible.
in the fall, I wasn't doing much work of anything because I was there trying to support the situation where my dad's health is going down, taking him to the hospital. We spent 16 hours at VGH. And so there's incidentals that go with it. You never really know what that is, whereas the purchase for Opal for my mom was being proactive, and I liked it because there is a big purchase price to buy it, but you're buying a home and the stability, and the bonus on the outside is all the services that are there in the community and everything else, and so
the looking after a parent it's not just the cost of looking after the parent, it's the cost of you taking time away from your work, right?
Correct. And in many conversations with my mom, because she's been open to some of this, partly because we were never sure when my dad was eventually going to pass away. And so within the conversations we had, it's realizing that family's first. There's no amount of money that really is going to make up for that, at least not in our family unit of you can have all the money in the world, but if everyone's miserable or people's health is not there and there's the passing and somebody passes, like for me, my biggest fear is that either of my parents would pass away alone and feeling the anxiety in those last years before they pass away, and being able to have the opportunity to go, this is all in one place, this is all support, family could be here quite easily, because there is a thought in the back of my head as well of, because there's the complex care, if my mom needs that, she could move into the complex care. We still own the unit. We could still be in there and have family on site to be able to be there as part of it. And so the peace of mind there, I mean, it may sound corny, but it's priceless in that sense.
It is.
Sure. Now, Candy, you get the families that say, I want to buy one, I'm going to buy two, and it's the price adds up, and
Oh, they don't know. No, actually, the real estate portion is nothing, because everybody understands the value of real estate. It's the intangible that they kind of have a little hurdle. Oh, am I spending your money, like my next generation's money? And then the next generation will say, but we love you and we care about you. Please don't. It's not about spending and using our money. You're actually doing this for us, to not feel so worried about you. Like, let us give back.
It's funny
exactly
about
what you were
the
talking
generation
about.
of your dad, especially, of that era, which were Depression era babies and war babies, and they never wanted to spend anything.
Frugality.
Right? And so I have a friend of mine whose father is a successful guy, did very well through his life, and he's like, you have the money.
Yeah.
You spend the money.
Yeah.
And in your line of work, everybody's saving, sometimes through insurance policies for retirement. And then they don't spend it. So because we're programmed to be in that saving mode for so many years. So is it maybe not the case with your mom, but you must get clients like that too. And you have the money, you should be using this for yourself instead of saving it.
And that's something I always try and bring into, and it was part of this decision here, is you definitely want to take care of the future and save, but if it is taking away from the present and your current lifestyle, what's the point? One, as I had the experience with my dad, his biggest wish was to be able to pass away at home with family around. He got that. And then the reality is all the money, all the stuff, all the rest of it, you don't take it with you.
Yes.
No.
Right? But as long as you know your family is taken care of, then it becomes simpler. Like there are a lot of people who will have that anxiety that goes, I can't spend this money because I have to pass something to my kids, but then they end up living on a shoestring in retirement despite having made tons of money during their life. And it's like there's a balance there, and for each family it'll be a little bit different.
There's proactivity there. Like last time we had Miley here, there's actually so many ways to plan ahead to be able to enjoy that lifestyle while having things to pass on. It's just you have to find a way that works for you, but be proactive about it instead of avoiding it because it's just too much to handle.
Well, Ken, how many people are downsizing? So your mom and dad have a house at King Ed in Granville, beautiful neighborhood. So that's easy to do. Sell one and buy the other. Is that what people are doing mostly?
All of them are.
Yeah.
Yeah, all of them are. Yeah. And when you downsize, of course, you're going from a larger home in that same area, going into a condo, of course, then you still have lots and lots left over, right? Yeah, and then even in the case, as well as there's more reverse mortgage that can help with the monthly payments. In the case of rentals, which we also have, then some people are thinking, how many years will I be healthy? And that is an unknown, but there's ways to plan that as well. You just have to go and be proactive and find the professionals who can advise instead of avoiding. There's always ways around. Yeah. And
all right.
It's investing in your own health and your whole family's sense of happiness.
It's your own quality of life.
Yeah. Your own, but everybody that you care about, that you want to be in your life without the negative burden. Yes.
So the best way to find Candy, ElementLiving.com is the website, and the Discovery Center's at the 12th and Canby at City Square there. Douglas, last piece of advice for anybody listening who has elderly parents or maybe aging themselves. What do you have to say?
I would definitely say take some time to be proactive. Take a look at this. Take a look at the options out there, because nobody knows when any of this is going to happen. And if you know the information, you got the options, it's better to have something in place before you need it. Right?
And don't be afraid of it, and realize that it's no longer nursing home here. And I'm not even talking about Element itself. Like this trend has shifted, and the quality environment is there. It's just also then it is the realization, maybe I'll be around older people, but that's going to change. We're going to ensure that changes, but being more open-minded and then at least looking at it.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you, Candy. It's
Yeah.
always great to talk to you, and you're such a force in this regard. And I think that if there's one woman who can spearhead this, she's sitting right here.
Absolutely.
Candy Ho is the Director and Vice President, Marketing and Corporate Relations, and Chief Cheerleader, I would say, for this style of living at Opal by Element. Douglas Guest, thank you very much. It's been great getting your personal insight. I think it really probably hit home for a lot of people.
Thank you. It's a pleasure. I'm always happy to share the story.
Thank you.
And that's all the time we have. Thank you for listening. We'll speak to you next time on CL 650.